The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, that's the PURC, is threatening sanctions and penalties on Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, if it fails to restore services to customers. And a statement signed by the Director of Public Relations, Nanaya Jantua, says the distribution of electricity is an essential service, hence no Ghanaian should be denied that service. It further said that any attempt by ECG to deny Ghanaians access to electricity, which is critical, amounts to an outright breach of the electricity supply and distribution rules, and goes on to say that the LI states the supplier shall ensure that facilities for the purchase of units for prepayment meters are available at all its customer service centers between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each working day. Now, workers of the nation's power distributor suspended services in their offices across the country on Friday, and as part of their activities to protest the privatization of the company. Workers last week suspended services for 3 hours of each working day for 3 days. Customers who went to some of the ECG offices to buy credit were left disappointed. And as we speak, we are also told that the strike continues today because they declared a 2-day strike, which was on Friday, and then it is continuing today. So we want to speak to the regulator of the utilities here in Ghana. That's the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. And its Director of Public Affairs, Nanaya Jantua, has joined us on the line. Madam, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon. How are you? Very well, thank you. To start with, this is not the first time the ECG workers have decided to protest what they say is the privatization of the company. They started last week where they did 3 hours a day for 3 days, and then this time around they seem to have taken it a step further. Friday they were out of office. Today too the strike is continuing. How come it is now that the PURC is deciding to sanction or to threaten a sanction on ECG?
Thank you very much. 3 hours a day, we have 8 hours in a day. So if somebody goes on a strike or maybe some form of not working for 3 hours, within that at least you know that people can come and purchase units. Number two, this is a very critical time. A critical time of the beginning of the month where consumers purchase or prepayment metering purchase their units. So if for the beginning of the month and you embark on a strike where the offices are closed completely, that one is a complete breach.
Okay.
Nobody is saying that you shouldn't protest against something that you are not happy with. But when you protest, you have to ensure that the people that you have a contract with are not put in an uncomfortable situation. And the people that ECG has a contract with are we the consumers. We the consumers have a contract with ECG that they will provide us with some form of electricity through the units that we buy. So at the end of the day, if I cannot buy units and I sleep in darkness, not because it is load shedding, but because I couldn't purchase units and I had the money to purchase the unit.
Right.
What about small scale businesses? Hairdressers, seamstresses, most of them get their businesses at the end of the week and the beginning of the month.
Now, Nana, let's look at the case in point, which is why they are on strike. What is the regulator's position on the privatization of ECG, and your position also on their decision that government should not privatize ECG?
My dear, you see, that is not for us. Ours is to look at the tariffs to ensure that the concessionaire adheres to the strict benchmarks of regulatory enforcement and all that.
Yeah, you're right, but as the regulator, you should be able to have a say or two.
We are independent of government.
Right.
We are an independent regulatory body. We have a mandate. We work within a certain law, and we do what the law asks us to do. We don't go outside the law.
Okay.
Besides, what we are saying is that if the ECG has a problem, what is the problem? As I said, I don't even know what it is. The consumer who is buying the unit or he's unable to buy units doesn't know why you are going on strike.
Right.
Do you get me? And you see, if you are going on strike, then what you are trying to say that you want public support for whatever intervention that you want to happen, isn't it? And still
on that issue, we Ghanaians have clearly known how ECG has been suffering over the years, lack of money or funding for them to run efficiently. Their machines, they say, are obsolete and that they need the fund. For which reason then when they come to you to increase tariff, you'd also consider a few things. So if you are to advise them, or government comes to you,
but I am saying that if you need money to work, why are you refusing money?
Okay.
Because people are coming to pay you money.
Right.
So if for the 2 days that you are off, consumers don't come and buy from you, you have lost money, haven't you?
Okay, fair point. And my last question to you would be, what kind of sanctions can you give to the ECG? Really, it's a government institution, not like it's a private individual.
Is specific. It's very categorical. So we'll go into the law and see which sanction is appropriate, and we sanction them. Because this is very categorical. It says clearly that your offices should be open for 8 hours. And even in doing the sit-down strike, the offices were locked. It wasn't as if it was even open. It was locked. And you see, contingency, you could have even put one person at the place. There will be a queue, but people can still buy. Right. See that too. If consumers would spend maybe 2 minutes to purchase credit for prepayment, because of the sit-down strike, because of the protest, if you put one person there, maybe they will take 30 minutes. It still has the same impact.
Is it realistic, Nanaya, that you punish a government institution like ECG? We will be indirectly punishing ourselves as Ghanaians because it is a Ghanaian company.
We are a regulator. And we have laws.
Okay.
We deal with laws. And as long as the laws are there, and this is not a law that is vague. It is clear. And because of the importance of the consumer, and the PURC has the mandate to protect the interests of the consumer and ensure the financial viability of the ECG service provider.
Right.
Even on the issue of financial viability, we have to go into the law to find out whether there is no breach. Because if you have a consumer who is coming to pay you money and you refuse the money, then it means that you are even limiting your own financial viability.
Right.
As a utility service provider. Okay. There are so many ways to protest.
To do this.
As an essential service, you should use other means possible, which is effective, that does not go against the consumer.
Okay.
Because in all this, the consumer is key.
All right. Nanaya, we are grateful for your time and thank you very much for the clarity you've put to this issue. She is the Director of Communications or Director of Public Affairs of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, threatening that the ECG would be sanctioned if they continue with their strike. And talking about that, today is the second day that they are on this strike, and the National Executive Committee of the ECG, for that matter, are in a crucial meeting as we speak, and we'll be getting an update on that whilst the bulletin goes on, and we'll keep you posted when we do get that particular update from the meeting of NEC of the ECG.